Well, today's going to be a goofy, fun one.
We deserve nice things, as I like to say.
We're having a good week.
We are.
Everybody, listen, Fated States did the job.
We alone.
Alone. It was just us against the world, and here we are. No, listen, it's Wednesday the 5th, and yesterday was Election Day. And as you can imagine, the text threads were bopping, and we did very well. We're feeling very good. Sea to shining sea. We have done the job that we should have done last year. But we'll just let that go. And all I just want to say is any person who helped us by giving to the Fated States Giving Circle with the stage project this year, I know we were pushing it. I know a lot of you were like, oh, do I have to listen to another blather about this? A lot of you gave money. We hit our $10,000 goal. And that $10,000 went directly into the pocket of candidates in Virginia who were door knocking and phone banking and getting out the vote. And we flipped, as of today, 14 House delegate seats.
Yeah, those numbers were wild,
Virginia.
Right?
We were hoping for 3, and we got 14.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah, and you know what?
Way to go, Virginia.
But way to go everywhere. Mississippi.
Yeah.
I mean, Mississippi has been locked in and gerrymandered into for what, almost 15 years. And they finally broke that supermajority.
Amazing.
California, school board races around the country. I mean,
incredible.
I saw a really funny quote that it was like, I think it was like Heather Cox, maybe. It was somebody, I don't think I could find it really fast, but it was basically like, if they could be voted out and somebody it was like the local dog walkers union, like, you know what I mean? Just, the power in that is like, it's one thing to hope that we're not alone, that there's more of us than there are of them, but it's pretty fucking great to see it in action.
Yeah. People turned out. It was great. I want to shout out my own district here in New York City, which is a like deeply purple district, often red. We have Nicole Malliotakis is our House rep, but the Democrat beat the Republican for city council to the tune of 18 points. So like, listen, New York did the job. Everybody sort of turned out. Places that are blue went bluer. Places that are purple went blue. Places that are red went purple. And listen, excellent work, everybody. We're just so happy. Stay tuned. Fated States is not ending. It never does. It never will. And next year, remember, we've got a big midterm, so we'll be back to the phones. But also raising money with the States Project, because now we know that money actually changes the game on the ground. There are some big states coming into play, House and at the state level next year. So stay tuned for more of that. Although if you're a Giving Circle donor, you can continue to just give, and that money will just like quietly accrue in an account at the States Project, and we will direct it to the state that they think we can be most helpful with. So if you just feel like being once a month, just popping $10 into that account, you are able to do that, and you are welcome. You are welcome to join us right now for early 2026.
We'll also be talking about some potential possibility to do some phone banking in Iowa, even this year, for Chloe Angel's husband, who is up in going to run for Senate in Iowa. And so there's lots of we've been talking about other things to do now that these midterm or whatever off-year elections are done. So, we're always cooking up a way to be a community together and a community of the larger world. So we love you and you're awesome.
We are thrilled and continue to be really proud that you all trust us to hang out with you, and you're still here listening to us blather on about democracy. Also, this is your regular scheduled reminder that if you would like to run for school board, you should run for school board. We need smart, thoughtful people who care about books and keeping reading free and keeping books on shelves in schools. You can learn more about your local school board races if you sign up at Run for Something, which is, I think the website is runforwhat.org, but we'll put it in show notes. So run for school board, everybody. If you do, we'll give you $1,000 to seed your campaign. Look at us.
We're trying. We're trying, everybody.
Look at us. Anyway, welcome everyone to Fated Mates. I'm Sarah McLean. I read romance novels and I write them.
I'm Jennifer Prokop, a romance reader and editor. And tell them what they've won this week, Sarah.
Yeah. Well, listen, it was getting stressful here. It was getting stressful there. Jen's had a cold. Like, we're just sort of, we're doing a lot of reading in the lead up to the end of the year. As you all know, the end of the year episodes, we don't really plan this right, Jen. The end of the year sort of sneaks up on me every year.
How am I right now? Like, oh shit.
Listen, and so what ends up happening is at the end of the year, we end up reading a bunch of books because we do a debut romance episode and we do a holiday romance episode and we do our best of the year episodes. So we do a lot of rereading as well. And we know that you guys love all those episodes and we would never stop doing them, but it does start to get stressful. So we were talking about like, well, what can we do that would be just like fun? And, you know, we talk about this a lot as we're doing episodes over the course of the year. We talk about microtropes that we really love. And so Eric said to me today when I told him what the topic was that we were recording, he was like, I wish there was a better word than microtrope. It's such a like kind of wonky, boring word.
Oh, yeah, right.
And I totally agree. But so maybe we'll come up with that over the course of this episode too. But the reality is that we often you'll hear us describing a book or one of us describing the book for the other. And one of us will say, oh, that's one of my favorite microtropes. Like, I love it when, you know, they, I don't know, buy their girlfriend's silk sheets. That's not one of mine. I just made that up. But point is that, and then you sort of think to yourself like, oh, I really do love that. Like, what is the thing about that? Why do I love that so much? And like, what book did I read that in? And so we decided that what we would do today, and if it's successful, we'll do it sort of a couple times a year maybe. We'll do a microtrope episode where we talk about things that we really love. Microtropes, little things that happen in romance novels that give us a lot of joy. And then we'll recommend a book or two that does it. And in fact, tonight, we were just saying before we started recording, like maybe we'll introduce the microtrope and then try to like brainstorm more than the one that we have come up with.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the good problem is like the 100 million romance books in my brain and then like trying to extract like such a specific piece of information. And I was thinking, I think that's why the joy of the microtrope is like, you can't go searching for it. It's you have to. It's the joy of discoverability. In like, right. So you just like come across it and you're like, oh, I love this.
My favorite.
And yeah, it's my favorite. And I think that that's part of the joy of it. I also think, you know, we have like the Fated Mates collections, which we haven't talked about in a while. And I think some of those are very like microtrope driven. You know, it's a secret tattoo or it's spectacles
one of my very favorites. Yeah.
Before we talk about like specifics or whatever, I was thinking, I mean, so I don't like, I want to talk about how you tackled this.
Oh yeah.
And then I want to talk about like, do you find anything interesting in your list or similarities or anything like that? And then I don't know, like just make it happen.
I also want to talk about microtropes in writing. I don't usually talk, as you all know, I don't love to talk about my books, but I do. Microtropes are one of these things that I have thought about a lot. Like, this is sort of a new concept in romance. Like, I feel like we have only recently named this thing.
Like, for me, I think it's because we have so over-relied now on tropes to describe the plot that somehow talking about microtropes is instead talking about like the reading joy in a way that tropes really aren't anymore, but I think used to be.
That's a good point. When I started, you could say like there's only one bed and people would like flip their lid on
and be like,
Twitter,
oh my God. Yeah,
know?
Exactly. Right.
But the reality is that now there's only one bed is in every freaking marketing, Instagram post. And so it doesn't hit the same, right? You need a stronger drug.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Or one that maybe can't quite be, I don't know, it co-opted the same way. I mean, we say all the time that tropes aren't plot, but golly, Sarah, I wish people believed us.
Yeah, listen, tropes aren't plot. And microtropes aren't plot either. Microtropes are even less plot. They're the wallpaper in the room.
Yeah. I mean, it's like essentially like you put a tchotchke on the fucking table or whatever.
Yeah. It's like you walk by and somebody's watching a TV show and you're like, oh, I love this show. And you like sit and watch it for a little while.
It can't be co-opted. It feels, they've at least not yet. They feel really pure in some sort of way. I also think they are like fingerprints to a specific reader.
Yes.
Right? Like what you like and what you don't.
This
right?
gets into what I wanted to talk about. So we have talked a fair amount, I feel, but like now that I'm starting this sentence and I'm thinking, I don't know that we have actually. We talk a lot about like id in romance and how like the joy of romance in a lot of ways, like one of the challenges for romance, I think, right now is that we're sort of moving when romance moved toward the center in terms of like publishing, and people started reading romance publicly and like thinking about romance as like an acceptable genre. And of course, all of this is with like big air quotes, everybody, but you know what I mean. Like starting to really think of romance as like a genre people read, right? Like throw a stone and hit a person who's read Emily Henry or Abby Jimenez or, Kennedy Ryan. Like people are reading these books. And so I think that like as romance kind of moved toward the middle, we have lost the instinct from writers. I don't think that this is intentional, but I think writers are sort of instinctively choosing to write also sort of more books that have like a more broad appeal, right? And I think I maybe talked a little bit about this because I think this is a little bit where we've started losing historical, like there are sort of things that are happening that seem to be sort of flat or sort of moving the whole genre into the middle instead of just accepting that, like, listen, the middle also reads Allie Hazelwood and they'll come to us. Like, like we don't have to move there. But the instinct as a writer is often like, oh, I want to write to like the broadest audience possible. And that means in a lot of ways kind of like cleaning or like scrubbing off all the like little bits that kind of sometimes make it romance, right? Or make it like the kind of romances that we loved when we were, the Gorilla Twins, like,
yeah, right.
Juice McNaught, where he has to shoot the horse kind of thing, right? Like, so a very particular kind of romance, right? So as part of this, like, I think that the joy that you and I get from romance is that kind of, there's something sort of primitive in the way that like romance kind of attracts your reptilian brain, right? And so like when you're watching, this is why rom-coms don't hit for me, not the books, the movies don't hit for me the same way a romance novel does, because like there's something very palatable about a rom-com and there's something logical and like cerebral about a rom-com that there isn't about a romance. Like romance is about like hitting that like primordial spot in your brain, right? And like it fires like a particular kind of like really virile, like vital, interior neuron, and then boom, you're in, Derek Craven.
This week's episode of Fated Mates is brought to you by Lily Riley, author of Phoenix's Last Heist.
So Lyra Phoenix, our heroine, is a criminal. She has been stealing from planets all over the galaxy, and she is so close to freedom. She can taste it. She's just got one last artifact to steal, one last heist, in which she's going to have to visit the planet Zolothian and steal a priceless artifact there. Unfortunately, while she's down there, a self-righteous and annoyingly sexy ranger catches her red-handed, and everything falls apart because he could turn her in, but instead he's decided he's going to take her captive and use her and all of her knowledge to capture all of the other thieves who are raiding his planet. This puts Lyra's back against the wall in exactly the way that you like a heroine's back against the wall, Jen. But she is not without her own weapon, and that is an unlucky and very lucky for us quirk where her stress, and you can imagine there's a lot of stress in a forced proximity on a
Sure.
spaceship with a guy who wants to throw you into space jail. Her stress triggers uncontrollable lust in others.
Amazing. Just everybody, just stop right now. Let me click.
I mean, and judging by the heat in Orion's eyes, it's already working. And she warns him not to trust it. But I think these two are going to do a lot of stuff in the tiny little spaceship, and I'm going to enjoy reading about it.
So if you would like to read this sci-fi adventure romance that has enemies to lover, forced proximity in space, and knife to throat flirting, then Phoenix's Last Heist is definitely for you. It is available in print and and with your monthly subscription to Kindle Unlimited. If your podcasting app supports it, you can click on the chapter title right now to be taken to buy the book. Thanks to Lily Riley for sponsoring this week's episode.
Jennifer Lynn Barnes, who is a PhD and a professor at, and I never know if it's Oklahoma State or University of Oklahoma, but one of them, and I will put it in show notes, is a primatologist. And one of the things that, and so she has studied like chimpanzees in like, obscure kind of like remote places. I should have talked to her about her on, talked about it on Gorilla Twins. Although I will say that, did you notice the Discord sort of made sure to let us know that gorillas are not monkeys, and gorillas are apes. And also apparently Jane Goodall did not work with gorillas. So what's the name of that thing where it's like, you think that the logo of Starbucks had a narwhal on it, but it was actually a mermaid or whatever, the sort of like communal belief. You know what I'm talking about? What am I talking about? Fuck. A Mandela effect.
I'm sorry. I don't ever really talk about like my students on this podcast, but today we were talking about Nelson Mandela at school because we read the Trevor Noah book, and a kid was like, is the Mandela effect named after Nelson Mandela? And I was like, I don't think so, but I will find out. And then for have you bring it up, I was like, I don't know. It just feels like my context collapsed.
Uh-oh.
It can't possibly be that it's that Nelson Mandela, can it? But I mean, I just looked at this kid like, what?
Mandela effect. False. Yes, it is. The phenomenon was dubbed the Mandela effect. Somebody out there is going to have to remember where I was at the beginning of all this, but here we go.
It's not going to be me.
It is. It won't be you. The phenomenon was dubbed the Mandela effect by paranormal researcher Fiona Broom, who reported having vivid and detailed memories of news coverage of South African anti-apartheid leader Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s. Broom reported that hundreds of other people had written about having the same memory of his death while he was still alive. And she speculated that the phenomenon was evidence of parallel realities, the Mandela effect.
Huh. Okay, well, I really was not expecting that. I thought you'd find out that it was like, researcher Adam Mandela of Newton, Iowa, you know.
There is like, and it is Fruit of the Loom, the logo of the clothing brand Fruit of the Loom. Like generally, we all sort of collectively agree that it has a cornucopia on it. It does not. Berenstein Bears. Berenstein is not spelled the way that we all sort of think it is. Mr. Monopoly does not wear a monocle. I mean, like all these sort of really interesting things. Anyway, point.
Everybody pause now and go Google that shit. I don't know.
Yeah, doesn't sound right? Doesn't sound right. Spell Berenstein for Berenstein Bears.
No.
Okay, fine. Don't.
I can't spell right now.
Play my stupid game.
It's like
The pressure.
the pressure of a name, the pressure of a Berenstain name. Well, it's got to be Bear, right? Berenstein.
Okay, well, it's not bear. It's Berenstain. And it's the AIN that people are like, that's not fucking right. I've read those books my whole life.
Anyway,
It doesn't matter.
What are we doing right now? But that's wild. I can't wait to find that kid tomorrow and be like, you were right.
Love us. You all love us out there. Send us your favorite Mandela effects. Anyway, point is, I feel like a collective Jane Goodall Mandela effect is gorillas. Now, here's the real question. Why the fuck was I talking about gorillas? Oh,
because of Jennifer Lynn Barnes.
Okay. So here's the other thing. I should have said this up front. Jennifer Lynn Barnes also is sort of very well known for several series of YA novels, right? She wrote a series called The Inheritance Game. She's written she's written a lot of like YA, very, very well received YA novels. Anyway, point is, she's a primatologist. Forgive me for not knowing exactly what kind of like primate, ape, monkey,
they're all monkeys
whatever.
To us, everybody. Romance monkey.
I know they weren't gorillas because there's an island in like the South Pacific that is like called Monkey Island, and she did a bunch of research there. And while she was there, and this place is like, people don't go to it. It's literally just an island populated with like chimpanzees or something. And Jen's giving me a real look.
I just feel like you're making everything
you don't listen
up
to me, and then
I am listening.
Have to tell you crazy stories and see if you're paying attention.
I am listening, but I am literally like, is she making all this up to just fuck with me because I'm fuzzy? And I'll be like, remember that monkey? I'll be talking to me, be like, Monkey Island. There's like a whole fucking place that's just monkeys, and people will be like, "Are you?"
No, there is. It's
dumb?
called Monkey Island. Here, I'm gonna Google that too. Here we go. This is everybody's favorite pause in the sound Monkey Island. There's a video game.
You mean Donkey Kong?
Okay. Yes, there are Monkey Islands. I think the one that we're talking about is maybe Cayo Santiago in Puerto Rico, which is not in the South Pacific. Listen, everybody,
we're all having so much fun right now.
Just go with me on this.
This is really peak Jen and Sarah.
Point is, or maybe there's one in Liberia. I don't know. Doesn't matter. You know what? She's not here. We'll find out someday. Anyway, everybody can ask. If you ever meet Jennifer Lynn Barnes in the wild, just ask her this question. Anyway, point is, she's a primatologist, and there's this island, and it's populated almost exclusively by like this kind of monkey, whatever it is. And there are cages, like basically researchers go there to study the like groups of the communities of monkeys that live on this island. And like, because whatever they are, the chimpanzees or whatever, are close enough to us that they can then sort of extrapolate in thoughts on human existence or whatever. And apparently when you go there, like if you bring your lunch, you have to like sit in a cage to eat your lunch because the monkeys will come and like take your lunch. She tells a great story about this. Anyway, point is, when she is on Monkey Island, she starts to frame this kind of theory of universal pleasure. And what she means by this is like, in large groups of primates, there are these kind of 6 clear pleasure centers experiences that give primates pleasure when they witness them. And you're making all this up. Have I never told this story on the podcast?
You have, but I don't think I ever got the
you
monkey
never paid
lead
close
in.
attention.
No, I paid close attention. I've never gotten the Monkey Island lead into this story before.
Oh, really? Well, look, I keep it interesting. And so her concept is, here are what they are. They are obviously touch, right? So like pleasure via touch or sex, but any kind of touch. And then beauty, wealth, power, competition, and danger. Right? These are the 6 things that are that fire your like pleasure center as a primate / human, right? And so her concept was, and then of course it's the reverse. So it's like, touch or like the, isolation, like beauty, also like ugliness, wealth and poverty, power and lack thereof. Like competition is all about, the, winning and losing. And then danger remains, but of course, like the thing that fires in our pleasure center when we think about danger is like watching danger. Like we are safe, but we're watching it, right? So it's like we watch F1 for the car crashes, right? They're dangerous. They're in danger, but I'm perfectly safe on my couch.
But I'm safe, sure.
Right?
I mean, there's like the emotional every romance novel is this for a person, right? You're like, look at these dummies.
So she starts kind of putting this together as like a conceptual framework as a primatologist. And she is also, if you remember, a YA novelist. And so she starts to think about id as a universal pleasure center and how these kind of 6 things can be layered to make a bestseller. Like, is it possible that you can write these things into a book and make a bestseller? And so she starts to say, well, let's look at The Hunger Games, which has danger that is safe because we're reading it. Competition, the whole thing is a competition. It's all about power, about hoarding, like, right, wealth, poverty, the haves, the have-nots. The whole, like, the entire second act of The Hunger Games is a glow up. Like, that's all beauty. Katniss becomes beautiful. And then, like, the touch piece is the sort of romance of it all. So she starts to think like, well, if you can put all 6 of these things into a novel, can you make a bestseller, right? And her research is really interesting. Like when she talks about it, she's really fascinating because she'll show you like a best-selling book and then she'll walk you through like all the ways that it does all of these things. It's great. And then what she started to do was she was like, but this isn't enough, right? Because there isn't like you might not enjoy this kind of like rote work of, oh, now I have to layer this in and how do I make sure that this is part of it? And so she came up with this idea of like, you can actually have your own pleasure centers. So there are these sort of 6 broad universal pleasure centers or id, concepts. And then there is like your own private list. And this is for the writers among us, right? Like it's like the things that you love to watch, see, experience, read, whatever. And that you also love writing. Like they give you joy when you write them. So she always says like, I love it when my characters eat ice cream. Like so since I heard her give this talk, I have made my own id list. And every once in a while, I'll be like experiencing something. I'll be at a play or watching a movie or reading a book. And I'll be like, oh, you know what? That's a thing I love. And they end up being the microtropes, right? So it's like some of these things will not surprise you. I love it when characters are on rooftops.
You do.
I do. I love mirrored, Jen, number 4 on this list, which I did not realize when I wrote Storms, is mirrored sunglasses on stern heroes. Yeah, and so the goal is like get it really, really, really specific. And then her whole thing is once you have this list, when you get like bored when you're writing, go to your id list and be like, well, can I write a scene where the hero is wearing mirrored sunglasses and very stern? And maybe put him on a boat.
Yeah, that's great.
So, I mean, like, I love secret passages. I love secret packages that arrive from dressmakers. I love, I love it when large groups of people in a team do a slow walk out of a burning building. Right? Like and so like you as a reader also have things that you really love. And now for me, I keep a list because like I would really like to write,
write that.
More heroines with special skills or, heroes who never smile, but then smile when they finally like break. And so for me, like my list is whatever my list is. But so when you said, how did you come to it? Like I have some things, I went to this list and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to talk about some of these things. And then I also just was like, what other, like, I just sort of lay in my bed and thought for an hour about like all the things that I really like in romance novels. Mm-hmm.
I I always find it interesting to kind of be like, what are other people's? And then do I have that one? Right? And like, yes or no. So I actually have I was sort of keeping a list on my phone. But for me, often I found myself thinking, if there's a book I reread a lot, because everybody knows I'm a scene rereader. I say that, everybody knows. You all don't, now you know. I'm a scene rereader often more than a whole book rereader. So is it like, what is happening in the scenes that I read over and over and over again? This week's episode of Fated Mates is brought to you by Kylie Scott, author of So My Ex-Boyfriend is a Serial Killer.
You know, I was with somebody this weekend and they said that they thought that romantic suspense was going to be the next big wave of romance. And I kind of hope it is, especially when you have writers like Kylie Scott, who we avow at Fated Mates is one of the very best, writing it. So nothing prepared heroine Sydney Walsh for the absolute embarrassment and definite awkwardness of having unknowingly dated an infamous serial killer. She has committed to doing her best to move on, but the reality is that this does kind of harsh the vibes of a social life once your ex has been dragged off to jail and convicted of serial killing. And she might be able to just sort of disappear into nothingness if only amateur investigators, true crime podcasts, creepy fans, and a particularly belligerent police officer would leave her alone. Unfortunately, none of that is happening, and her personal life is very quiet and kind of sad. She doesn't have that many friends, and the neighbors want nothing to do with her now that, she's been through this. But a tattooed chef and all-around thirst trap, Noah, moves in next door and things start looking up. Sydney is being asked on dates for the first time in forever, and she is feeling like a real connection and also very sexy. She has a red-hot desire for this guy. Unfortunately, we all know that can't last, and so the darkest moments of her life come crashing back when her ex decides that he has unfinished business with her. And the big question is, will she and Noah make it out alive? And can their love withstand the nightmare of her past? This one's a real you and me against the world book. And knowing Kylie, it's also going to be a lot of fun.
So it also has a girls-only amateur sleuth club, a rescue dog, and he chops wood for her. So what else do you really need to know? If you would like to check out So My Ex-Boyfriend is a Serial Killer, it is available. It was available first as an Audible original, and this week it came out in print and If your podcasting app supports it, you can click on the chapter title right now to be taken to buy the book. Thanks to Kylie Scott for sponsoring this week's episode. When I looked at my list altogether, one of the things that I thought that surprised me was how often my favorite microtropes have to do with people having or not having a sense of belonging. So, for example, one of my favorite microtropes is they're at a family dinner and right, people have heard me say this, no one's surprised, and the one of the love interests, right, often the woman, I'll be honest, her family's just being real shitty to her. And if it's a male female, the love interest stands up for her. And it's kind of like, you guys are being such assholes to her right now. Mm-hmm. And so as we come upon Thanksgiving, it's worth mentioning Her Naughty Holiday by Tiffany Rice has what I think of as being the iconic one of these scenes. Mm-hmm. Right. And so her name's Clover Green, her siblings, Hunter and Kelly, and her difficult parents are there, and they're just all being so terrible to her. Eric is the love interest, and he's watching this happen, what the fuck is going on here? And he cannot help but sort of say, you are terrible people, right? And then she throws them all out, and he's all right, everybody, let's go. And he means me too. I'm going to listen to her. And I love scenes like this. And this is one of many scenes where like the key element of what I like about that scene, standing up to the family, is here are the people that she's supposed to belong with. But what the love interest is saying is, you belong with me.
Yeah.
Right? We belong together. You don't have to be with those losers anymore, right?
Yeah. Part of the joy of that is also, I think that goes hand in hand with one of the sort of cornerstone feelings in romance, the things that give me a lot of joy, which is the moment, which should be in really every romance, which is, I see you better than anybody has ever seen you before.
Yes. Yeah.
And so being here in this place where your family just is totally, not only are they being assholes to you, like that also means that they don't understand you, right?
Right.
Like, they're not even trying to understand you. And all I want is to understand you.
Yeah. Well, and like there's another really like interesting element to that is her siblings, Clover's siblings, have like kids that they don't bring. And she's so hurt because like all she wanted to do was like see her nieces and nephews. Mm-hmm. And, and it's like Eric is the only one who really sees like how devastated she is by that. Like the withholding of the children from her is so painful. So anyway, it's just like one of those scenes where like every time I feel lucky, like I'm lucky enough to come across it, I'm just like, yeah. Right?
That's great. One of my favorites of that same kind of ilk is in that Blackout Billionaires series, the Naima Simone series. With the first one, which is the Billionaire's Bargain, is the one where she is like a waitress and she kisses. There's a blackout and they're in the dark and she kisses this guy who is a billionaire and then discovers that he is her like dead husband's best friend. And he kind of has believed that like she was the bad guy in, between her dead husband and his best friend's like parents. And like he saw at the beginning of the book, he sort of is siding with her, with her in-laws about like how she's, not being respectful to them and she's not honoring the like proper memory of her husband or whatever it is for the good of the child. And then he realizes, like, as he gets to know her, that they're actually assholes. And then he kind of swoops in and saves the day in a real like similar way where he's like, no, you guys are assholes. And like, he like takes her away. I like that too, because I think it's a slight twist on what you're saying because, and this was not on my list, but it's a slight twist on what you're saying because it edges into what I really love from Heroes, which is I was wrong. And now I see that you were right the whole time. Listen, which is all I want from my husband.
I'm not sure that's a microtrope. That's like the whole ball game.
Being a woman in the world. But but it's a thing that I really love, right? Like
a lot of us in the world, right, experience real difficulties with our families. It's like not everyone has like the perfect whoever person's going to come in and like be like, don't worry, I'm on, you know what I mean? I'm on your side. And,
yes,
we're together, like, don't worry, your family's got your back or whatever. And so I think these moments also really speak to probably people who don't have that experience of like, the perfect, whoever in the family or best friend or whatever that's going to come in and sort of, be there to listen or whatever. So,
yeah. All right. I'm going to take it to a less serious place. And I'm going to say, I really like it in Paranormals when the hero thinks the human heroine is like fascinating, but is also furious that she is so poorly made.
This one's broken. Mine's broken.
No, when he's like, I don't understand. Like, you could basically die at any moment. And she's like, I'm just fine. Like, fuck you. And he's like, no, but you really honestly could die. And then and she's just like, badass and wonderful, but like, and he can't stop feeling like she's badass and wonderful, but like I love it when they're like, oh no, I can't have sex with her because like I will clearly break her. Like I will clearly break her. This is a fragile, dumb creature, kind of Lothair style.
Sure. Yeah, and then she accidentally like cuts his entire head off. So
Exactly. She's like, fuck you. I'm about to show you how fragile I am. Right? I mean, I really love that. The book that I recommend, if you also love this, and obviously, you know, if you are a Lothair lover, you will love, for this reason, you will love this, is Marion Pereira's The Beast Prince, which I've talked about before. But the heroine of this book is, the concept of this book is like, there is this kind of god king who rules over this town of people, and he is so powerful that he can turn himself into any form of earth. So he could be, if he's angry, he could be lava, he could be a mudslide, he could be a mountain, he could grow a field. He can make fields like thrive or like make them barren. Like, so, and he sort of lives up on high above this town, and this town has been like going through it. Like, and every, however many hundreds of years, they have to make a sacrifice to the king. Right. And like what happens is people go up there and they usually send a virgin up.
of course.
Because obviously, and then like they disappear. The virgins go away, and so this time, like the fields are barren or something has happened, and they're like, "Oh shit, we have to feed the God King," right? And so they're like, but there's a woman who is the captain of the guard of this town now, and she is like strong and brave and awesome, and she's like, "Fuck that, I'm going." And I'm going to kill him. And so she like goes up to the palace and of course like is instantly terrified he meets her completely nude, by the way.
Obviously.
Another thing I really enjoy, like just a man who's like, listen, I don't care. He meets her completely nude and then like basically is like, okay, but you're mine now. Like you came in, so you're mine now. And literally like immediately is fascinated by her, but also like, oh my God, like you're made basically of like tissue paper. Like, so how does this work? And I just fucking love it. I think this is so delightful. And I don't know why I love it, but I do.
Okay, I have one that it has like a couple different forms. The love interest. Okay, so it's about having someone speaking another language.
Yeah.
All right, and in one version of it, this is like the Lord of Scoundrels version. Dane is like telling Jessica everything he feels about her in Italian because he can't tell her in English.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, I'm talking about drains. And she's like, I think you're talking about how horny you are for me. And I like that a lot. The second version is more like the Julie Garwood style where she knows, right? Like one of them knows the other one's language and doesn't tell them the truth that they know it.
Yeah, I wrote one like that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know why I love this. I think it probably got hired. A lot of these, I'm like, this is Julie Garwood, just like hardwiring these things into me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just recently this week read something and I was like, tee-hee, I'm delighted by it all over again.
Yeah. Well, because Julie Garwood does it where it's like, we're enemies, so I will never admit that I understand your language. But then he's like telling her how much he loves her, how obsessed he is with her.
Well, but it's the one I think these are all from The Bride, like the one in The Bride where she doesn't tell him she knows Gaelic.
Yeah.
And then like these, she basically like drags a sword out and is about to kill these two dummy kids or whatever. And he's like, oh shit, you speak Gaelic. Yeah. So I love this.
You like exasperated, like you like to see a character on their back foot.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And I also love like, I think I love the idea. It's like a shortcut somehow to somebody's like real. There's something like real that is hidden. It's like the language of your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you think you can hide it, but you fucking can't.
No. I know everything about you. Even that fucking language that you think I don't know. Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that one.
I mean, well, since you said The Bride, I actually have one from The Bride that's different.
I think I have a second one from The Bride too, but you go.
Yeah, which is it's outdoors and we're cold and now we have to sleep together in my kilt.
These blankets.
Only one kilt.
A plaid, Sarah.
Only one plaid. Actually, I do have it listed on my thing as only one plaid. The Bride. And this is, I mean, of course, listen, The Bride installed a lot of buttons for you and for me.
Oh, yeah,
obviously.
absolutely.
And this is the scene where he says, like, she's talk about horny for each other. She wants him. And he knows she wants him. But she's like, I'll never submit. And he's like, okay, but I'm the Kincaid. So are you sure? And then they're like headed to Scotland. And she's like, you should kiss me. And he's like, I won't kiss you till you wear my plaid. And then it gets cold and they stop and she's cold. And this is the moment where she's like, I won't, like, I'm just going to shiver on the ground.
I mean, everyone else is like, what is that sound?
And it's her shaking, just clattering in the background from being cold. And he opens up his plaid and he grabs her and he pulls her to him and he's a furnace. And then she's like wrapped in his plaid and she's wet maybe. And so like she gets naked. I can't remember, but they're wrapped in a plaid. And he basically is like, well, now you're wearing my plaid. And then they do it in the woods.
This week's episode of Fated Mates is brought to you by Lumi Gummies. Consistent, mellow, and super delicious, Lumi Gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. Whether you're looking for an end-of-day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi Gummies has a strain that's right for you.
So, listen, last week was Election Day, and as everybody knows, and many of you probably experienced, PTSD comes quick and heavy on election days. And I was, of course, glued to my computer and watching the results come in, but I had the help of a little Lumi gummy that was keeping me company and making sure that I didn't just vibrate directly off the couch. So what I can tell you is that, you know, I have used Lumi for, I've used these gummies quite a bit over the last few years to sort of moderate my anxiety, my stress, my sort of tension in the evening. I will say they put me directly to sleep usually. And that is a really useful tool. I know, Jen, you use them for sleep also.
I do.
And even, you know, sometimes we have a guest over and they don't drink for a dinner party. But as I think I've said before on the podcast, now there's this thing where, you know, at least 2 people who've been in my house over the last year for dinner parties have said, do you have a gummy? And I guess like that's now what we do. We have that along with a red, a white, a rosé,
And a gummy.
or a gummy.
Amazing. So Lumi Gummies are available nationwide. Go to lumigummies.com. That's LUMI gummies.com and use the code FATEDMATES for 30% off your order. Again, that's LUMI gummies.com, code FATEDMATES. Thanks to Lumi Gummies for sponsoring this week's episode. So my other one from The Bride, though, is...
We will recommend books that are not The Bride, everyone.
Okay, so remember I said a lot of mine are about belonging?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, spoiler alert, if you haven't read this book from 40 years ago, everybody. Jamie thinks everybody hates her, right? I mean, she's just like, I can never fit in. I'm always causing trouble. I've started all these fucking wars. I'm just a real troublemaker.
Yeah.
And then at the end, right, repayment for the Lady Kincaid.
Yeah.
Is like, in fact, the whole community then turns out to say, no, you're so important to us.
Yep.
Right? I fucking love that shit.
Well, it's interesting because that ties into that microtrope, which I also really love. And listen, I know it's toxic, but whatever. Shut up, everybody. I love it when he's like, he thinks that nobody likes her, or she's like, he thinks like she's not part of the community. Like she's just with him. Like she's only his. And then it turns out that like she's been, you know, playing games with his seconds in command, or like he's like hanging out with his buddies all the time. It's like when Chloe in McGreeve, but also in Mafia Mistress. She's like, there's a scene where what's his name comes in and is like, and she's like, Fausto comes into the kitchen and she's like chatting up, other people in the mafia, and he's like, and they're all like, ha ha ha, she's so funny, and he's like, get the fuck out. She's so mad.
Amazing. A+.
All right. Okay, how about this? How about heroes who like are obsessed with making women have orgasms?
We're so old school.
As you all know, I have a bone to pick with current romance. And it is, you all have seemed to have forgotten that there's a very clear rule. I know a lot of people feel like the happily ever after is the only rule of romance. I feel that the first and forever rule of romance is she comes first and then he handles himself. And I feel like a lot of people are missing the he loves to go down moment in a romance novel. And I'm lodging, consider this my formal complaint. But in Mr. O by Lauren Blakely, it literally begins. The first chapter is like, so-and-so, I don't even know his name, Mr. O. He loves 3 things, and it's like video games, money, and making women come.
And you're like, what a man for our time.
Yeah. And it's like he loves cunnilingus, and he's not afraid to admit it. And then, of course, this is a book where a favorite actual trope of mine, which is I think I'm bad at sex. And so, like, I need somebody to, like, make sure that I'm, like, not bad at sex. And so she goes off, and her brother's best friend happens to just, like, really super love making women have orgasms.
A very, underrated cousin to this is he goes down on her before they kiss with their mouths.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one, too.
I've been reading Son of the Morning.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Bam. And I was like, elevated the book instantaneously.
Yeah. Everybody, make better choices.
I think that's why I love Malcolm, from the
Yeah. He's like, what's that
Demon
smell?
from the
Let
Dark.
me get it. The Ice Planet Barbarians guys, too.
Oh, yeah.
What's this? I'm gonna eat it.
So wrong. Oh, my God.
Somebody said to me yesterday, Jen, like an actual real person who doesn't know me, like know me the way you know me, know me the way that people who listen to this podcast know me. An actual real person said to me yesterday, Sarah, you should run for office. And I said, do you know that there are 8 full years of me saying
Unhinged
like banana
things.
shit?
Yeah.
Like the
supercut.
YouTube videos, the Oppo research. Although what I would say is to my collective purple district is you all deserve men in your lives who know how to get it done to you.
Yeah.
I stand by it. Anyway.
I love it when they're like at a gala or like something.
Yep.
Everybody's real dressed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they're having feelings and they have to like take off their tie, like the physical manifestation of the feelings is like, I can't, like they're just like, fucking love that shit.
That's good, but I can't think of anything.
I can't either.
Like
I think it's so small.
It's like, that makes me think of like, this is not the same at all, but you said it, and I honestly had a moment where I was like, it's like in Gentle Rogue where she just thinks she has a stomach ache.
Oh, yeah, the whole time.
She's turned on.
I think a related subtopic of this is when he's, she's like, my boss is so, locked in and, whatever. And then it turns out his dick is pierced. And she's like, what?
What is
like her
happening?
whole mind is blown because this man.
I mean, I have to be honest. I've
this
never
man
been faced
sleeps
with a
in his
pierced
tie.
penis, and
Me
it
neither.
feels like it would be a shock.
I'm sure, especially if this is a man who you've never even seen.
No. I mean, like a man you've never seen out of his like tailored suit.
Sure.
Are
And
you
his
kidding?
dick is pierced? Are you kidding me? No, absolutely crazy.
Too much.
So yeah, I like that just because I think that it's like so literally visceral, but okay.
There was a period in romance where there were a lot of heroes had what are they called? Prince Alberts?
Yeah, like wasn't there like an actual title that like joked about it?
Yes, and also there's the Kristen Callahan book where he's a virgin. He also has one, which what? That's romance piercing.
That is romance piercing. Now, this is a good time to talk about romance tattoo.
Oh, you know what? We could do a whole episode on romance piercing because there's also we won't, everybody. So we're just going to tackle it here, which is this is not my microtrope, but if it is yours, here's what we're going to do. Romance piercing would also have to include the Nikki Sloan book, The Redemption, where she has a pierced clit, and he buys her like a giant diamond piercing, and instead of her like going to, I don't know, a medical professional or whoever it is who replaces your clit piercing, he does it. He does the replacement himself. And I'm like, whatever is going on here is clearly romance.
Yeah, that's romance piercing for sure.
This is romance piercing. Kylie Scott has one of those guys has nipple piercings, right?
In stage dive? I don't know, maybe.
Somebody's yelling at me right now.
Yeah, I do like romance tattoo. I feel like is adjacent and a little less terrifying maybe than romance piercing.
I have romance tattoo thing on my list. Would you like me to go unless you have one?
No, go ahead and then I'll talk about like my one example that I really like.
Okay, so obviously, and everybody knows this because I've written it like 7 to 12 times. I really like tattoos that are like secret, but have like where the other character doesn't know you have it. And when they discover it, it's something like deeply personal to your past, like together.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, I've written that into a lot of books, and because I fucking love it, because I love the idea of him just like having been just broken and miserable for 10 to 15 years, just carrying your painful mark around on his body. That's what I want. Why is that too much for me to ask in real life?
On their body or on their psyche?
But, well, I mean, yeah, but I want the physical manifestation of the damage I have done. I want him to have clearly not been to therapy and instead have marked himself with his bare desire for you, his aching yearning for you. And for this one, I recommend Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt, which you would not expect to have this kind of like deeply aching, like important tattoo situation in it, but it is actually really lovely. The heroine of this book is a stand-up comedian. She has a relationship with her like long-standing manager who's like slightly older than she is, has a daughter, and she has kind of like he's a widower, and she kind of like comes into their life, and of course like they have to keep it professional, but like she really becomes part of him. And the tattoo, I won't say much more about the tattoo, but it is a really like beautiful, long-standing manifestation of like how important she is to his world. And it's well deployed.
I was just rereading this week. There's this like series by Katie Wilde called the Hellfire Riders. Mm-hmm. And the ones I like them all, but like the Jack and Lily ones, he's basically been into her for fucking years. Mm-hmm. And her name's Lily. And when they finally, like, it's kind of crazy, the setup, Lily. Right? And he has like a Lily tattoo, and she's literally like, whoa. And I really like that. Like, he's like, I have been pining for you for so long. And this tattoo has been on my body for so long because that's how into you I am. Mm-hmm. And I think it's real hot. So yeah, I like that. Yeah. I like a tattoo. And like I said, romance tattoo, a little less terrifying to me than romance piercing.
Yes. I think this next one may not be a microtrope, because here's what I want to say. I want to propose to the class. Part of what makes something a microtrope is you really could find it in any romance. Like at any point as you're sort of reading along, you could find a moment where like this is in there because it's not relevant to the plot. It's not relevant to like it's shading in the painting, right? So I'm not actually sure this counts because I think if you were to write it into your book, it would immediately be compared with with a handful of other books. And that is, I really like it when she shoots him.
I mean,
I like it when she like takes him out.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, though, is that when a weapon is involved, you're going to immediately be compared to either Lord of Scoundrels, which we know is like sort of the primordial, like she shoots him moment, or to Beverly Jenkins's Tempest. And so that is the book that I would say, like, if you are tempted by. Now, in this particular case, in Tempest, in Lord of Scoundrels, she fully fucking intends to shoot him.
Yes.
In Tempest, it is a mistake. Though, to be fair, she's not that sad.
She's not like all broken up about it, though.
Yeah, she's not going to let that get to her. But
she's like, seems fine. You did deserve it, my friend.
But the greatest thing about it is basically in Tempest, it leads to one of my very favorite men, which is exasperated man.
Sure.
And I mean, truly, I feel like all microtropes and somehow relate to man who is not having a great day. Except for the one where he really likes giving ladies orgasms. Except by the end of the book, when they come into the book really loving giving women broadly like sort of man of the people style orgasms, right? Then by the end of the book, the problem is he doesn't want to give anybody else an orgasm. He just wants to give her an orgasm. And then exasperated man, frustrated man having a bad day.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I want. I want all heroes to be having a bad day.
All the time.
Right up till the end.
You know, it's funny because I now have a couple books by S.J. Tilley, which I think S.J. Tilley was potentially like forged in the same fire that I was in. And one of the things that I think is like really important is in romance is like noticing. Right? The way we know that the characters are into each other is that they are like really noticing each other. And so one of the things I really like, and often the example in this book is like, all right, so in Mountain Boss, it's Courtney and Sterling are the two characters, and Courtney has like gone up to like work at his. She's like, yeah, like literally, he has like a camp or something. I don't know.
Mountain Boss.
I know. It's crazy. Whatever.
What a title.
I'm not even mad about it.
No,
you know what's
I'm
funny
not
is
either.
I don't even think I've read this entire book, everybody. Like
I know exactly what this book is, and I want it. And that's romance title.
She's broke, but she's been hired as his like, you know, like fix-it guy. And I think he thinks it's a man, like based on her, like Court is how, you know, how she signs her emails or whatever. And he's like so pissed. It's just like a woman. And so she is just like, well, I can't tell him that I need anything because I'm barely on the edge here, but I really need this job. And so there's all of these fucking ways that he really misreads the situation. She like literally does. He puts her in a cabin, a different cabin than he was going to because he's like, well, you should have your own space. But there's no mattress on the bunk. So she's like sleeping on a plywood board. And she's like, I can't tell him about it. He's probably he doesn't know.
He would die if she were uncomfortable.
Listen, it's fucking great when he finally figures it out because he feels like the biggest jackass in the entire fucking world.
Yeah.
And he is.
Yeah.
And I think like the reason why I love that moment is first of all, because like I have a lot of respect for women with like, right, a lot of pride. I feel like Scorpio season, right? Me too. I'm like, I would die first. So I like respect that like she's so proud. But then when he figures it out, I mean, the way this man tortures himself over it is frankly terrific. And although I've not finished that entire book, I have read that scene more than once where he like goes in and I can't remember why. And he's like something looks weird there. And then he's like, what the fuck? And it's great. Sarah freaks out so much that he, calls down the mountain and orders new mattresses for every single bunk, like in the entire cabin, like the entire.
Because, Jen, he's mountain boss.
And you know what? It's great. Later, he finds out she doesn't have enough to eat. I thought he's going to throw himself off the mountain, and I was enjoying it quite a lot.
Oh, God, that's such a great moment, though, in all of them. Like, she hasn't been eating. She hasn't been sleeping. She has an uncomfortable bed. Her shoes are too tight. Her dress is ripped. Like,
yes.
My God, it's the moment. Oh, what book am I thinking of? It's old. I mean, like, I was forged in the fire of a very particular decade of romance, and he it's like Cinderella style. He like walks into a room and he sees her just like in like shabby shambles. And he realized like she's like this because he was a fucking asshole. God, that's the best.
It's the best.
It's the best. Anyway, I don't know. We'll never know, everyone.
The key part of this has to be I'm the master of the universe. This is my mountain. I know how everything works here. So for him to get that wrong, and in a way that has put her in
discomfort,
A+.
Okay, forced proximity in very weird places.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
Because here's the thing. Like, we all love forced proximity. That's like a fine old trope, right? Like, we're snowed in a cabin. We are on a boat together. We're in a carriage for, 4 days going to Scotland, whatever it is, right? But it's a particular kind of romance that takes that forced proximity and kicks it directly up a notch and puts you in a very strange place and forces you to be in proximity with each other. So I want to talk just briefly about Beautiful Sinner by Sophie Jordan, where the main character is like she's like plus sized and has been living in this town for her whole life. And she is like the like sweet, like good girl in her family. Parentheses, non-sexual. Just like, she's just like good. And everybody just thinks she is just, she's just lovely. That's just her. She's just a nice person. And who knows what will ever happen to her because, she's just a nice person. And she gets invited. She's all the nieces and nephews' favorite aunt. Like she gets invited to a like play, her like nieces in a play at high school. And it's the high school that she went to. And at the same time, meanwhile, there's, this is part of Sophie's Devil's Rock series. This series is all like men who have been in Devil's Rock Penitentiary, like, and they're all like, it's, their own experience. Each one has like a different experience, like with the real world once he has left the prison. And so this one has gotten out of prison and he did in fact do the crime that he was in prison for. And like the whole town, he's gone home to like the town that they grew up in. And the whole town is basically like, scandal. Like here he is, he's out of prison. Like who knows what will happen. He's a monster. He's not a monster. He like makes sculptures in his back garden. He's very sweet and emotional.
It's amazing.
Anyway, point is he was very, very handsome. He is very, very handsome and now very, very built because what else did he do in prison but run around the yard, I guess. I don't know. Chin-ups. And so he looks great. And she has always had a crush on him. And there's this here's another microtrope I really love. There's this whole backstory where like one night in the dark, like at some like party that she was kind of invited to but didn't have any friends at, they kissed in the dark.
Oh, I love that.
And she is listen, I love the dark. I love rooftops. This was great for me. They kissed in the dark and she's convinced that he had no idea that it was her. Like she took off and like he immediately was like dating somebody else and like she never got the courage to tell him. Anyway, through a confluence of romance events at this play or whatever, she ends up locked in a janitorial closet with him.
In like the high school, right?
At the high school for the weekend. Nobody realizes that she's not with them when they leave.
Amazing.
Now, listen, this is a little bit of Sophie's core story coming out because she really likes a character who has been forgotten by her family and like ends up kind of falling into a relationship with a man. But anyway, so they like do it. It's dark. There are no lights on in there. I can't remember. I think for at least part of it, there are no lights on in the closet. And so what are they to do in there in that closet?
I know what they're going to do, sir.
And yeah, they are. And it's going to be great. And also and also this has another little microtrope that I think it has the other one, which is we kiss and I know it's you.
Oh, yeah.
Which is that's like from Zorro or something. Like there's a masked kind of we kissed and I knew it was you movie.
Yeah, and Louisa Darling, that second one, right? Like he knows it's her, she knows it's him, but neither of them thinks the other one knows.
Yeah.
But they're kissing all the time. It's great.
Boom, amnesia.
Boom, amnesia. That's book 3.
Can you think of forced proximity in a weird place?
Yeah, but it's embarrassing. But here we are. Whatever. My mom can't be listening anymore after we talk that much about going down on people.
Hi, Mom. My mom never listens, so.
I immediately thought of The Hostage Bargain by Annika Martin. This is the first book in the Kinky Bank Robbers series.
Mm-hmm. Your favorite?
I am so fucking simple, everybody.
You've talked about this on the podcast. The bank vault?
No, it is literally okay, so it's like there's 3 male bank robbers and then 1 woman. And it's not like whatever swords crossed or whatever people say, right? Like it's like she individually sleeps with each of them and sometimes they're all together, but it's not like they sleep with each other, the men. Mm-hmm. But anyway, they're bank robbers. So they have like little bank robber names and they're all after like gods. And Zeus has been very distant from her for most of the first book. They name her Isis after they kidnap her from the bank that she's working in. And at the end, Isis and Zeus get like literally, Sarah, locked into like a shipping container. And I was like, but it's not sexy. You're going to die.
It's confusing.
Right. It is confusing. And then really, honestly, it is. And yet incredibly memorable. And as soon as you started talking, you guys like that Kinky Bank Robbers book.
Yeah. Yeah. Forced proximity in weird places. Listen, the amazing thing about romance Earth is there's oxygen everywhere. No one ever has to pee. And that's that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. That's fun.
Okay. Are we there? What are we doing?
I have a couple more. I have one more that has like a book attached and then a bunch on the list that just I'm delighted when I come across them and then they're gone from my brain. I don't have no specific references.
Okay, well, hang on a second because we're going to do more than one of these every year. Then maybe you just make yourself a list when you come across them.
No, Sarah. No, that's not how I want to play this game.
Lay them on me. I have one left, so you go for a little
while. No,
I
have one more and you have one more and then I'll tell you my my lightning round.
Sure.
Okay. In Hans, also by S.J. Chili, she is the world's most terrible cook, but he eats all the food.
Oh, yeah, you love that.
I do love that. And I think I can't imagine any book would ever do that trope better than this book does. He is, and she keeps like a blog. She's so proud of her cooking. And he will like, basically the minute she like drops off the food on his porch, he forces himself to eat it. And like the descriptions of him like trying to make the food more palatable. She leaves the food on his porch and meanwhile, she never sees him. She met him once. So she's trying to be a good neighbor. So she leaves food on the porch. He has like, he's like some assassin or whatever. The minute she leaves, he'll like go and then it's like he's starving or something, but he's forcing himself to eat the worst food he's ever tasted.
Yeah.
And then he'll return like the empty container. That's why she knows he's eating it, but she has no idea that he's like, what are you doing? And
he's like
described
giving himself food poisoning
several times in the book. Like at one point, it's like these like zucchini brownies. He's like, why are these so wet? You know what I mean? And then there's like these corn cookies or something. And he's just like, what is this? But he cannot help it. It's great. It's great. So yeah, like somebody's terrible at something, but the other person is like, I can't get enough of it.
That feels like it's old school Garwood too. Like there's a Garwood where it's like she's like he has his guards constantly protecting, like, because she's just chaos. Okay. We talked about this on the stream, on the episode that we did about DC, LA, and Chicago. And I mentioned that when we were talking about Streams and Schemes by Rebecca Kincaid, that I really, really love it when the beginning of the book is, oh no, we're going to die, we'd better fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And when I said that, somebody on the Discord was like, this is a thing? And I was like, it is a thing because Odette Stone in Puck Me Secretly begins the book with
you love that.
I do love that. I mean, listen, I also love, I have also discovered that I really love plane crashes in romance novels because it's always like two people. I like meet cutes on planes. Like I like any romance that has a plane in it. I don't know why. I'm like it's not like I'm like a pilot or care much about planes, but like when I actually think about it, I sort of love it when they do it on a plane. I love all that stuff. I especially love, I sat down next to a handsome stranger and now we are on this plane together and like hot for each other. And then, oops, he's my boss or whatever. But in this case, this is a hockey romance, though it does not start out like a hockey romance. And they are both headed to Vancouver because I think Odette is from Vancouver. And so she has this like hockey team in Vancouver. And they are on a plane and like halfway, they sort of each notice that the other is attractive. But of course, like,
sure, what are you going to do?
It's a plane. What are you going to do? And then the plane starts to crash and she sort of panics and she like grabs his hand and they like have this like deeply, deeply intense moment. And I think this is another one where she's like, I've never had an orgasm. And she just like sort of, they're holding hands and they're basically like, well, we're going down. So, and then the plane actually crashes. It does not like, they do not rectify it.
It's not just turbulence. Yeah.
No. And the two of them are very lucky and they like walk away and then they do it. And then they get to Vancouver finally and discover that her father owns the team and she is there to like prove her mettle as like a marketing person. And he is like on the team. And so they have to keep it a secret from her dad. And also, but it's also like deeply emotional because they had like been through this traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love it. I forgot to mention at the beginning, I'm going to put in show notes. On Reddit, I found a person once who wrote a really hilarious thing. I've mentioned this before about Mary Bailow, and how much she loves. It's the title of it is Stern Men Who Can't Stop Skinny Dipping.
Oh, yes.
And I just was like, this is a person who really understands like the power of a microtrope. You know what I mean? So yeah. One thing that is really fun is if you have an author you really love,
find their microtrope, like
right? We can find what their microtrope is, and I think that can be really fun. So anyway, I'll put that in show notes. Really funny. Okay, but here are like 4 things I had on my list. All right,
lightning round. Let's do it.
Ready?
I'm like getting in the zone.
No. These are like one of these is so common, but I love it. Right? These are not like name them. They're just so common, but I love them. When the person leaves and the other one smells their clothes or sheets.
Yes. Okay.
Now, I don't love it when like a man like picks up the panties and smells them and puts it in his pocket. Too much, but like just like
too much.
I just want a little less of that.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that.
Or when one of them fucking leaves.
Yeah.
And the other one, like not I have to go to work, but like
no, like they're gone, but I can't wash these sheets because
you're in cold storage and this pillow is all you have left of her.
Yeah. I fucking
good
love
luck to you.
I love when the person who never breaks rules agrees to break or bend the rule for the love interest. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, just like, I never, ever would blah, blah, blah. But then
I'll never kneel.
Good
That's
one.
Kiss an Angel, everybody. I will never kneel.
I will never kneel. And you're like, you're right. Who needs to kneel? And then at the end.
He's a Romanov prince.
I love it when characters only refer to each other by their last name.
Yeah. Yes.
And then all of a sudden, they use the first name.
You love the moment in a romance where the first name is on the table.
Yeah. This is what's with Ilya and Shane in
Heated Rivalry. But also that's a real historical thing where it's like only ever addressed this hero with his title. And then he's like, call me
Sebastian.
Call me Sebastian.
All right, I have one more. Ready? Someone gets all doped up on pain medicine and tells the other person the truth. I love that.
Perfect.
Right? I love that. Like NyQuil, it's like a truth serum. How could I do anything but tell you the truth?
I mean, I could think like there's also like she gets real drunk and then says a bunch of like inappropriate stuff to him.
Not in a creepy way. Like, right? Like in a kind of normal, innocent way.
Yeah, in a way where he's like, okay,
the truth has come out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I like it when they say I love you to them when they're sleeping.
You know, related to my food one of my favorite things in Lead by Kylie Scott is that he secretly they live together because she's his sobriety companion, and he's been secretly stocking the like fridge with like her favorite like pie when she gets her period every month, and she never noticed.
Yeah.
He's like, who do you think is getting the pie in the fucking fridge every month? Shut up. You're just rich. It's great. I'm giving you something you didn't even know you needed.
Exactly. All right, listen, I think this was a fun episode, and I think that we should do it a couple times a year. And in order for us to do it a couple times a year, I mean, obviously, if anybody listens to this podcast, they know that we can come up with a couple times a year kind of content for this. However, we care about you all, and we want you all to have nice things. So if you can think of a microtrope that you really love, shoot us a message. If you're on the Discord, just drop it in Ask Jen and Sarah in that channel. Or if you're on Instagram, just drop it in comments on this episode. Same with Threads or Blue Sky. And we will keep a list. And if you tell us what book you're thinking of, if you have, you don't have to tell us. But if there is a book that is logical for you, then we'll shout it out on the podcast and also try and give you another one. Jen and I really like these episodes where we are challenged to just open the file cabinet of our romance brain, because we don't have very much else.
There's literally nothing else up in there. I have no idea.
Everything up in there is just weird romance novel shit.
It's so true. And then you come across something and you're like so delighted by it. And I'm like, why? Why am I like this? Like, can I admit, I almost put on the list, and I guess here we are. I'm going to do it. I was reading one of these, like, guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. This is like, kind of like a one-handed read. It's like one of these like mafia Evie Rose books or whatever. Called Oops Baby for the Mafia Boss. I was like, what's wrong with me? But she's reading a romance novel at work. She's like listening to an audiobook, and then like comes in and her like earbud skitters out. She's like scrabbling across the room trying to like make it stop while her boss is just like listening to this sex scene.
I'm actually kind of surprised there isn't more of that. It feels like in like the rom-com world, like that is a funny, objectively, anytime anybody messages us and is like, I dropped my car off to be serviced and it was still playing Fated Mates, and it was the part where Sarah was talking about men who just desperately want to go down on women. Like,
yes, it's fucking hilarious.
That's objectively funny. And also, probably a problematic meet cute in the real world, but on Romance Earth.
I mean, listen, it's Oops Maybe for the Mafia Boss, Sarah. Come on, it's not like...
no, listen, that's great. I'm for it.
This is one of those books where he runs like a mafia.
I don't know that I'm for Oops Baby.
Yeah, I don't even think I finished it. I was like, I don't really want her to have an Oops Baby, but I guess he's rich, so whatever.
Jen, she's going to get pregnant and he's going to be like, I have bred this woman and now she is mine, and I will just keep her bred forever.
Okay, let's stop now.
We did a breeding episode, everybody. We did it with Joanna Shoup.
We sure did.
And we will link to that in show notes in case that is your trope. In
case you're like, oops, maybe I didn't know I needed that in my life.
But it was a fun one to do. It is one of our most popular episodes, everyone, because you're all pervs. So we're all the same. We're all here in the deep end of the pool, just being gross.
Stern men who can't stop skinny dipping, everybody. That's
but
what we're doing.
We love it over here. Anyway, so that is that. Let us know about your favorite microtropes. I'm Sarah McLean. I am not running for office anytime soon, and I'm here with my friend Jen Prokop. We are Fated Mates, and you can find us every Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram at Fated Mates Pod, on Threads at Fated Mates Pod, and on Blue Sky at Fated Mates. If you really love having conversations like this and sharing microtropes and asking for recommendations related to tropes and microtropes you love, you should not miss our Discord, which is where we go whenever we have a question about books. You can head over there. You can join the Discord at patreon.com/fatedmates or fatedmates.net/Patreon. Also at fatedmates.net, you can find episode show notes, which have the names of every single book we talk about during the episode. Very useful for episodes like this, where we're just kind of, shooting from the hip, as they say. And Jen puts all those together every week. They're amazing. You can find everything you need there, including all of the information that we promised, including the breeding episode now. And what else? Is that it? I have an event this week.
Okay.
I am going to be, for New Yorkers, Thursday night. Let me just make sure it is Thursday night. Thursday night, the 13th, I am at the Rip Bodice with a couple of other people talking about Ladies in Waiting, the Austen anthology that we talked about last week. We probably won't be talking about Men Who Really Want to Go Down on that panel, because it has, impressive, important writers and not just me on it. But if you want to do that, you could sit in the back and then raise your hand and ask a question, and that would be super fun to watch. Anyway, that's the Rip Bodice on Thursday. You can get tickets in show notes or at theripbodice.com. Anyway, thanks everybody for all you did to make this week special for us and for the rest of the country. We love you. We love that you're with us, and we hope you're taking care of yourself and each other.
We love you all. Bye.